G'day everybody, my name is Elliot Waters and you're listening to the Dysregulated podcast. As always, thank you for tuning in. All right, a bit of context. It is 2:30 in the morning, 2:30 a.m. and I've finally got off the Pacific Motorway, the M1, coming home from Albury-Wodonga, so the New South Wales-Victoria border, all the way to Newcastle. I've been driving for, 8.5 hours, 9 hours or something. And I am finally almost home, but I'm telling you, I'm having a panic attack. I haven't done one of these episodes for a while where I take is literally into a panic attack with me. But I'm having one right now, and you guys are going to accompany me on the rest of my journey from the Pacific Motorway to Admiralstown Heights, Katara. Because I'm freaking out and I've got to talk to someone and, I don't know, I guess this is as close as I'm going to get because everyone else, quite rightly, is asleep, except for me and the truckies, which is, that's quite fitting considering that's where I've been today, which is down at Albury-Wodonga, starting my next chapter in the transport industry. Now, things have been going all right today. Things, I'm not going to talk about how it was today, where I was in, when I was trucking around and all that sort of stuff. I will talk about that soon enough, but I want to talk about more what's happening right here, right now. But I want to give you the context. So I've been down there and I admit that I thought I was only going in for a quick sort of, half hour, 45-minute little meeting. This is what we do. This is how it is. In the end, I sort of stayed there and I was there, I basically did a full shift. Not that I was, like I was there watching and sitting in the passenger seat while I was, with one of the drivers, which was really good. And, I got out and strapped some loads down and, I was like, oh yeah, the transport industry, trucking, this is what I've been away from. It's good to be back, like, can I do, any tie downs, like ratchet straps? Barely. It's like I've never done it before in my life. So I was like, all right, I'm a bit rusty. That's all good, but that's not why I'm having the panic attack. No, that's not why I'm having the panic attack. So that was all right. So it was a pretty hard day in the end. And then I left a lot later than I was planning on. Like I'm talking hours and like 7 hours later than I was planning on, which is fine. It's okay because, it was a good experience, to go around and see, a bit of how their operation operates. And have a good chat to the driver, and and I actually learn a little bit already about trucking, and I'll learn a bit about mental health and transport as well, and that's the aim of the game. Very quickly, a lot of people have been asking me, like, Elliot, what's going on? Like, I see on social media with the new Dysregulated daily videos, by the way, everyone please watch it on Instagram and YouTube. On one hand, you're doing all your mental health stuff, and then on the other hand, you're talking about doing all this trucking transport stuff. What's going on? So yes, I am trying to combine both, and I will talk down the track when I've got a bit more, a bit more intellect to talk about it. I will explain properly this blueprint of what I'm trying to achieve. Essentially, I'm trying to, fuse or galvanize or marry up my two passions, or you could say autistic fixations, which is, I've got a few of them, but two of the major ones, especially when it comes to career, is mental health and psychology, as we know, obviously. But also, as you would probably know, I'm sure I've mentioned on here before plenty of times, the transport industry as well. So I am wanting to try and get those two worlds to come together, and I'm trying to do it in a way that I don't think anyone's ever done before, and I don't think anyone can but me. But when I'm feeling a little bit more confident about the world and about life, because that has completely fallen out within the last probably hour and a half, I'll explain in more detail with a bit more optimism, which I've had. I've been very optimistic. But then, as I said, the arse end's sort of fallen out of everything tonight, and I just need to get home. I need to get to sleep. It's just gone 2:30 now. So all right, so let me try and explain. All right, so very quickly, because I'm almost home, so this is good. You're doing great, guys. Thank you. You've taken my mind off things. Maybe I fell asleep for a bit there. No, definitely not. If I was like that, I would have pulled over. Fatigue management, come on. But so, like I said, I was at Albury-Wodonga and I left a bit later than I thought, okay? So I was thundering up the Hume Highway, the M31, making really quick time, and I've got to thank the app Waze. So I'm sure most people know Waze is the one that tells you about all the sort of things that are out on the highway or on your road to where you're going, and why, things like, highway patrol, like potholes and accidents and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, so I'm thundering up the Hume Highway, making good time. Thank you, Waze. And things were going good, really good. And I was like, yeah, this is good. I'm going to get home hell of a lot later than I thought I would, but, because I've got to be up tomorrow, as I'll say in a minute, which is why I'm freaking out a bit. But, I was like, that's all right. It's been a big day. I've achieved a lot. And, this is a big one. Holy dooly, someone's just running across the road here just randomly. Oh, man. It's 2:30 in the morning, so I guess that's sort of, where'd they go? There. Anyway, you guys have got no idea what's going on. This isn't a dysregulated daily video. This is audio, so I need to stay on focus. But anyway, someone just ran across, where am I? Wallsend Road, and that was a bit, funny. Anyway, moving on, because I'm almost home. So I'm thundering up the Hume Highway, making good time, like I said, because I'm a truckie and I'm a professional driver who now has his multi-combination B-double licence. And then all of a sudden I hit Sydney. I'm like, oh, here we go, Sydney, Sydney's always caused a bit of, anxiety because it's Sydney, Like, the best part about Sydney is seeing it in your rear vision mirror, Like, the best part of Sydney is the road out of the joint. And that's all I've got to say about that. But anyway, so I get into Sydney and all of a sudden Waze is not taking me on the M7 and it's not taking me on NorthConnex. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? I was like, oh, something must be going on. So anyway, so M7 I found out it was an accident. So it was actually closed northbound. So I was like, all right, let's be a bit fair dinkum here. That accident could be anything. So, I'm not going to blow up too much. So hopefully it's all good and there were no dramas. But, it's not a good sign, the M7 motorway being closed northbound, especially later at night like that. Like usually be down to one lane, for example. But anyway, it's closed. That's not a good time. But anyway, so I was like, all right, that's fine. So anyway, so moving on, and then all of a sudden, Waze is telling me that NorthConnex is now closed. I'm like, what's going on here? Not another accident. Anyway, no, NorthConnex is closed for Roadworks. Now, for those that aren't aware, NorthConnex, I swear, has been open for like 6 months. Why the hell are there Roadworks already? Like, seriously, especially when Elliott Waters, the Newcastle Express, is trying to make quick time back to Newey, So anyway, then all of a sudden, I'm like, righto, so I got to go like Cumberland Highway, A28, the old way, Pandills Road. Got to get off and get on back or onto the M2 and then that way. And anyway, like the next like 2 exits onto the M2, whatever, are closed for Roadworks. I'm like, is this a joke? Like, am I being punked and I'm on TV here? Like, what's going on? This is unbelievable. So anyway, so all of a sudden me making quick time and not making quick time, but like I said, I sort of thought I was going in for a 45-minute sort of meeting, and in the end I was there for about 7 hours in Albury-Wodonga, but it was all good until this sort of stuff happening. So I'm thinking, typical Sydney has dudded me again. It's bad enough that usually when I'm in Sydney, it's because I'm coming home from a Knights game, and usually we're being beaten, so I'm already angry about that. And then Sydney always, it's the rat race getting out of there, and it's just, yeah, I don't have heaps of good memories of Sydney. But, I wasn't expecting all this to happen, and like I'm getting pretty annoyed because I'm going 40, because that's the Roadworks speed limits. And then all these people are sitting on me backside. I'm like, hey, listen, everyone, don't be pointing fingers at me. I'm just following the rules. This ain't my city. This ain't my bloody shitney. I hate this place, This is your fault, not mine, and this is the thing. No one's pointing fingers. I'm just imagining, this is me just my mind getting a bit frazzled because things are starting to get out of control a little bit, and I'm starting to see threat, in my rear vision mirror, even though there is no threat, but I'm picking up on it because that's what my system does. So all of a sudden now I'm like looking at the clock. I'm like, geez, I'm starting to run out of time here. Because this is the thing, right? I should have said this at the start. Whatever. You guys are with me until I get home, all right? I've got about 10 minutes left, so thank you. Tomorrow, or today, because it's now 20 to 3, far out, at 8:30, I've got a meeting at the university, which, ordinarily be fine. It's with me boss, Dr. Associate Professor Miles Young, which will be fine. Even with little sleep, it'll be fine, but it's not ideal, So it sort of just annoys me because it's like, God damn, it's just bugs me, It's like Elliot always has to do things the hard bloody way. And when I'm in these sorts of mood and everything sort of goes south real quick, like my mood I'm talking about, like all of a sudden I start going, I had these thoughts like, life's always so hard, I'm never going to catch a break. Things are always going to be like this, and I can't keep doing this. I'm sick of, when's it going to be easy, And I start, catastrophizing. That's what's going on right now. I've got the heart rate going. I'm a bit short of breath. And I'm getting real agitated, I'm freaking out a bit. So I've got, I'm really agitated and frustrated and irritable about the fact that I'm going to have like 5 hours sleep if I'm lucky. Still got to have a shower when I get home. Because and then, it just makes me annoyed. I just get real angry, and then I get real fractious, And then I start freaking out more because I remember tomorrow's a big day, right? So not only have I got this meeting at the university, which will be fine, I'm not, I don't have to prove myself or do anything, it's just a meeting with me and Miles, Miles and I, better good English, so it's fine. But then after that, though, with the Everymind Institute, I'm getting filmed, right, for a project that they're doing about, mental health care and, my experiences as a consumer of mental health care and mental health services in New South Wales. So, that's all well and good. But the idea was I'd be home and I would have read over the question, which will be fine. I'll make it work because I know this stuff. This is my life, This is what I do. It's one of the two fixations, but it's not even that I'm getting filmed. I don't care about that. It's the fact that I know that my inner critic, because I'm going to be running off not as much sleep as I want, so I'm going to be annoyed, I'm going to be pissed off, and then my inner critic's going to be more emboldened because, the walls I put up between my wise mind, myself and this inner critic construct, the walls are a bit shaky because I'm a bit tired and I'm angry about that because I'm like, come on, Elliot, we got to be better than this because we got to be the best because, you know what I mean? Like we got to smash this out of the park. That's there's no time for mucking around with no sleep and stuff. Switch on. But it's like I am switched on. The reason I'm driving back from Albury-Wodonga, the New South Wales-Victoria border, is because I'm out there getting it done. And I'm trying to make, the transport industry and mental health, come together. I'm trying to do something that I don't believe has been done before and is being done. And, this is going to happen. There's going to be pains. But I don't know. I just... and then after the filming, then I've got the lived experience advisory group meeting for Everymind. And, you know, again, it's a meeting, you know, who cares? It's fine. Don't worry about it. But I'm freaking out, you know, because I just had this idea I'm not going to be putting my best version forward, and I'm disappointed that I've allowed this to happen again. And it's like, you know, like chill. Like, you know, road closures, Transport for New South Wales stitching me up. That's, you know, I can't really help that. And, you know, me, in the end, pretty much working a full day at this joint, you know, it's like, you know, like, okay, that wasn't planned, but like, I don't care because, you know, it's about the experience. I'm just happy to be, you know, on the brink of being back into the industry. Like, today's a good day, you know, but I just get when everything just starts spinning too quick and I start losing a bit of control and all of a sudden I'm not, you know, nice and feeling solid and stuff, all of a sudden then all these negatives start coming up, you know? Like, it's like there's all these negative thoughts about my life and stuff that I just keep pushing away. In some ways in good ways, but in other ways not so good ways, you know? So, for example, oh, man, so, you know, there's a few things in life I'm not particularly happy with. For example, finances are not good. I've got $0 and driving to Victoria and then back to Newcastle's a long way and it's a lot of fuel money that I can't afford. But at the same time, it's an investment in my future. But, you know, I get really stressed about that. And when I'm tired and there's a few things sort of against me, you know, I start losing it a bit and then all these things bubble to the surface. So all of a sudden finances are bubbling to the surface, right? That's one thing. But then other things like my death anxiety starts coming up. So I'm driving along on the highway, right? And I'm thinking about death. And I'm thinking this whole time, like, what's the point, Elliot? You're gonna die anyway. Who cares? What is the point? And I know that there's a massive point. But I also know that we are going to die, and that's the thing. I struggle to push back against that stuff because it's legit, you know? Like, yes, it's a bit illogical that I'm thinking it now, and, you know, like I'm 35, like, come on. But at the same time, it's true, you know? And then I get real depressed about that because then I start thinking about me cat that's going to die. And I've been thinking a lot about Mabel dying. A lot at the moment, which is she's like 5. Like, she'll live till she's 15. But I'm stressing because, you know, I'm probably going to be moving down to Albury-Wodonga, down the border. Well, I'll talk more about that later. But, you know, and then I'm thinking that I'm not going to see her anymore and that, you know, she'll die while I'm away. And then I start thinking about my parents getting old and they're going to, oh, man. It's not even about me, although there's that too. But when it gets real bad, it's not even me dying, you know, it's the people I care about. And it's when I get real revved up like this, it's hard to dial it down. Now, a bit of context, you know, again, it's 2:45. I'm almost home, which is fine, which is good. But, you know, like, part of this is because my medications are worn off, right? So I know this, so I knew this was sort of coming because my meds are worn off. So I should be home by now and I should have had my night meds and I should be asleep, but, you know, like, they should be doing their thing. But what's happened is there's been a bigger elongated gap between my, I guess, sort of lunch, sort of early afternoon meds. And then, you know, I still haven't had my night meds yet because I can't have them while I'm driving because, you know, although I'm not on Seroquel anymore and stuff, like, there's still medications that have sedative, you know, not components, like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, they can make you tired, and although they don't make me tired because, you know, I've been on them for ages, clomipramine and mirtazapine, but, you know, like, I'm not having them before I get home. Like, that's not the order to do things. I've got to get home first, then I have them, you know? But so there's this bit of a gap between my medications, and the thing is, there's probably, you know, like, I know that clomipramine is a long act, and mirtazapine, they're long acting. You know, there's no shortage of those those medications in my brain at the moment because they're long acting. So I know logically there's no dramas. Okay? It's not that like my neurons are crying out for clomipramine. It's not that at all. What it is that I know that I haven't had them on time, and because of that, it means that my life's spinning out of control, which is garbage, but, that's the thing. It's illogical, isn't it? I know that there's no dramas. There's plenty of clomipramine and mirtazapine floating around. I could skip 2 nights, and I probably wouldn't even technically notice, assuming I just didn't know that I'd skip the 2, let's say, so I don't know. Anyway, so you know what I mean? So like neurochemically, there's no dramas, but and logically, there's no dramas, but that's not the point, that's not the point, because I know that I've missed it, and for some reason, me missing them, I haven't missed them, I'm still going to have them, but being a bit later on them is the end of the world, because I'm already anxious, I'm already a bit fractious, and everything's just spinning out of control, and I start panicking. And I'm like, oh my God, me not having meds on time, this is another sign that my life isn't in order. How the hell am I going to go back into the transport industry if I can't get my life in order? How am I going to marry up my 2 fixations or passions, let's say passions, of transport and mental health when I can't even do, you know what I mean? It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And I know me, I am very well rehearsed at operating on not much sleep, and I don't want to do it anymore, but here, this isn't all within, this isn't all my fault, but, it's just another sign that life's hard, and it's like, I want to get to the point where I don't have to just be constantly pushing, looking at myself in the mirror going, man, far out, I'm looking tired, and I'm looking, like the world's against me, and it's like, it's all right. Today's been a good day. We've achieved a lot. I've achieved a lot. I'm just annoyed that this keeps happening. And the reason it keeps happening is because I'm a goer. And I wish I wasn't, I guess other people might have been said to them, look, guys, I really appreciate the opportunity to, go around with one of your drivers today and all this sort of stuff. But I'll get back to Newcastle because I've got work tomorrow. But me, I'm this is a great opportunity. I'm really happy to be given, which I am, I am. I can't help the roads were closed. But it just worries me because life's it's never easy for me, There's never anything straightforward. There's always complications, and that's everybody's life. I know that. And I know that the way I'm feeling at the moment is just, I'm a bit tired because I haven't slept the last couple of days because I know I've got a big week. This is a big week, Tomorrow's a big day, but it's not just the only day. There's a lot coming up, So, it's, oh man, come on, Elliot, breathe, Elliot. Thank God I'm almost home. What was I saying? Yeah, this is a big week. It is a big week. There's a lot going on, I've got me big, I'll talk more about it soon, but I've got me big, what have I got on? Come on, think. My big, presentation, the leadership presentation at university on Thursday. What day is it today? Tuesday. So, that's coming up soon, and I'm just nervous, There's a lot of big stuff coming up. This is a huge week, and I'll be honest, this isn't the start to the week that I sort of wanted. I didn't want to be, me backside hanging out already, It's only Tuesday. It just worries me because I don't, not only when I'm a bit tired and there's a bit going on and it's a bit, I start spinning like this and things start thinking, all my thoughts start revving up a bit and stuff. And, my ability to push back against some of my, my hardest thoughts, especially around death and stuff, death anxiety, which is huge, it's huge. It's bigger than I've led on here so far. I need to talk about it properly on the show because it is a big part of, unfortunately, what I think. I think about this stuff a lot, but, obviously it's hard to talk about because it's death. But what I also know, and this is the bit that sort of get me, is that I know that when I'm tired and I haven't had as much sleep as I would prefer, like I know, I was going to say tomorrow, but it's today, is going to be hard because my inner critic, when I have my defences down a bit, my inner critic is able to bash on my door with its mate, the imposter syndrome and everything that goes with it. And, and they're a lot louder, and a lot of the time I can't keep them out. And tomorrow I'm doing this filming for the Every Mind Institute, and I take this sort of stuff seriously, and I'm pretty annoyed that I'm potentially not going to be running at 100%, and I hate that, even though it's mental health, and this is it, this is lived experience. I'm living it right now. Right now, I'm living it at 5 to 3. But it just annoys me, because, I don't know, and then there's this pressure too, because, this is it. This is it. I've got to launch. This is it. And I can't afford to stumble. And I get very worried that when these things happen, I'm stumbling. And I'm not stumbling. I just need to have a good meeting with Miles tomorrow, and then I'll be right. It's just hard. And then, so anyway, I'm almost home. So thank you, everybody, for listening and being, and, helping me, being my support friends and support network, which you are. But I appreciate it. Thank God. I'm almost home. All right. But yeah, so that's, I don't know. That's a bit of insight into my brain. And it's so frustrating. And what I might do a follow-up to this episode. I might actually release them at the same time, even though now I'm putting pressure on myself. Whatever, Elliot, just stop. So, yes. Anyway, I've just got home. I've got to get inside. I've got to have a shower. So, yep, I've made it. It's bang on 3 a.m. Oh, dear. Elliot, one day you'll learn. But, I don't know. At the same time, I don't know. Is this how it's meant to be? I think it probably is. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. You tell me, everybody. Like, is everyone else able to do this sort of stuff? Or because I do this all the time, and this is basically the norm, and it just annoys me because I don't want it to be anymore, because I want to be running sharp, and I want everything to be in a good order. I don't want to be doing this not much sleep stuff, because, I don't know, some of the thoughts, they scare the absolute crap out of me. Anyway, I just made it home. I've got to go inside. Thanks, everyone. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.